Welcome to Wake Up with Patty Catter. Come dive into today's episode, sponsored by the Patriotic Mermaid.
Hello, everybody. You're listening to Wake Up with Patty Catter, and I am your hostess, Patty Catter. Today, I have a longtime old friend on the show, Ed Lynch. Hi, Ed. How are you?
Hi, Patty. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. So you are a retired Marine, right?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. So what was your rank when you retired? So I get this right.
I was an E7, which is a gunnery sergeant in the Marines.
Okay. So Gunnery Sergeant Lynch. That sounds dangerous right there. So I would like it if you could go ahead, and we're going to jump into this.
Sure.
Would you please tell our listeners a little bit about yourself when you were growing up, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure. Well, I was a pretty average kid. I grew up in Saginaw, Michigan, which at the time was a fairly nice town, but it was it's an auto town, so it's fallen on pretty hard times. I grew up with three sisters, a mom and a dad, pretty typical family. I graduated in 85 and joined the Marines. I actually signed up for the Marines a year before I graduated. And then once I graduated high school, I went in about a month later, and it was a 20-year journey that was not for everyone perhaps, but it was really good for me. Mm-hmm. And I married my high school sweetheart a little later on.
So she's from Saginaw too?
She is. We went to high school together, and we got married when we were 25.
Oh, wow. I don't even think I realized that.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you were growing up, was it something in your head that just told you that you wanted to be in the military, or just one day you woke up and decided to join the Marine Corps? I shouldn't say that. I have a lot of listeners. One of the hardest jobs ever.
I knew early on, probably 8th or 9th grade, that I was going to do that. I was not the kind of kid that liked to sit still, and I wasn't really scholastically inclined, and I didn't apply myself in school, but I was always the kid looking out the window wishing I was somewhere else. So I knew that avenue for me was to go in the military, and thankfully it worked out.
Mm-hmm. So after your first, 4 years, how did you decide to enlist again? Did you just know that you were going to make a whole career of it then, it sounds like?
No, absolutely not. So, for anybody listening out there that has kids or that's younger, at that time in your life, 4 years seems like a long time. So I just kept, every time it came time for me to re-enlist or get out, I always liked what I was doing, and I just kept re-enlisting, and next thing you know, I was pretty close to being done. So it was I never went in with that plan. It just worked out that way because I liked what I was doing.
So what did you do in the Marine Corps? I know now it's pretty significant. Back when I met my husband and he was telling me about the job you guys had, I didn't quite understand it, but I'll let you tell our listeners a little bit about what you did in the military.
Sure. Well, I actually started out as an infantryman, but I got picked to go to the Presidential Honor Guard in Washington, D.C., which was a great experience. And then after that, I ended up trying out for Force Recon, high altitude parachutist, combat diver. And then I got to go to sniper school and do a lot of those kinds of things that actually intimidated me at first, but I looked around and I saw what those guys were doing, and I just wanted to be a part of it. And I worked hard and was able to do it. And again, I was lucky that it worked out. I never got seriously hurt, but I learned a lot, and it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm. So how many times were you deployed, would you think? I mean, that's a pretty hard question probably for you.
By the time 2001 came around, when 9/11 took place, up to that point, I had always deployed during peacetime pretty much. Once in a while we'd go sit off the coast of Africa or something, but so my combat experience actually was only from 2001 to 2005. So guys like me grew up training to fight wars. Guys that came in later, they actually grew up fighting wars, which I think was a lot harder for them than it was for me, because the tempo, the level of risk and everything was much higher for them than guys in my generation. I don't know how many times I deployed. I only deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq probably maybe a total of 2 years. And a lot of that was post-military, when I was working as a combat advisor or working for the government in post-military life.
Mm-hmm. So after you retired, you did contracting work, it sounds like?
Actually, I got very lucky. A friend of mine that I served in the Marines with, Paul Moose, he was in charge of me in the Marines at one point. We ended up becoming very good friends. And when I got out, he actually helped me get a job in Atlanta with the Air Marshals. And I did that for about 1.5 years. And I kind of realized it wasn't really for me. I tried to settle down like a normal person, but it just wasn't for me at the time. And then I did go back and was able to, get some good jobs contracting with the Army and the government. So again, right there, I was fortunate as well.
Mm-hmm. So now you started a clothing line, correct?
I did. Yeah.
Tell me about that. What made you decide that you wanted to do that?
So about 1.5 years ago, I kept watching, I'd been around a lot of military guys still. And I just kept watching guys wear certain shirts. I thought some were really good. I thought some weren't that great. And I was like, you know what, let me give this a try. And I thought I'd come up with a line that was patriotic. I didn't, although as you know me, Patty, I'm a kind of a smart ass, and I have I'm very sarcastic. So I did have some very good, I had some very good ideas for political shirts, but I just don't want to be a divisive person. There's enough negativity and divisiveness going on. So I wanted to just have a patriotic clothing line centered on, the military, first responders, and just patriotic clothing in general. So that's what I have. And that's, how I came up with my logo. We've only been around about 5 months, but I've probably been working on this for about 1 year.
Mm-hmm. And where can people find your clothing line?
You can go online, patriotmuscleusa.com.
Is it all together, Patriot Muscle?
Yeah, all lowercase, patriotmuscleusa.com.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and do you have women's clothes too, or is it just for the guys?
So since I'm just starting, it's all unisex right now. I sell hats, beanies, but mostly T-shirts. Mm-hmm. And here's actually my logo right here, if you can see it.
Yeah, and those listening, you can definitely receive the link on my social media and on the YouTube channel at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see the link here. So Ed, where do you see your clothing line going? What would you like to accomplish with that?
It's everyone sets goals, but I just wanted to be again, not a divisive company, but the other couple components to my company that I wanted to make sure that I hit was we give 10% to charity. All profits, 10% go right off the top to charity. And our primary charities are the Wounded Warrior Project and St. Jude's Children's Hospitals. And the main reason we give to those is because we believe in them. And we were given to them before I ever, we've been given to them for the last 10 years because we believe in what they do. So also, our products are made in the U.S. and we're veteran owned. So, to answer your question directly, where do I see it going? I really don't know. I hope it takes off. But, if it doesn't, I'm a patient guy, and that's okay. Failure sometimes breeds success.
So what's next for you, would you say? What are you, now that you're retired, right? Or are you still working?
I did.
Or?
No, Patty, I stopped traveling overseas probably 6 months ago, and I'm retired. I'm really glad and fortunate to be at home with my family. And it's just an opportunity kind of to slow down and downshift and kind of figure out what I want to do. I've thought about different things. I've had a couple of unique job offers, but I'm just kind of seeing how this company of mine goes and spending time with my family. This COVID thing is kind of, it's been a nightmare, but it's also been a nice opportunity to be at home with my family, because my kids are home from school. They've been home from school for the last several months. So, I finally get to spend some time with them. As a military person, you miss a lot when you're gone. So it's been good to kind of catch up a little bit. You never make that up, but it's been nice to be home.
Mm-hmm. What would you say your most fun experience was when you were in the Marine Corps?
I would have to say living in Hawaii with my wife. When we got married, she flew out there, and we lived there for 2 years together, and it was just a blast. It really was a lot of fun. We had a good time together, and I was around a lot of great people, your husband being one of them. That's where I met Ken. Mm-hmm. And it was just a great experience.
Mm-hmm. And what was your most challenging time when you were in the Marine Corps? What would you say was the hardest thing for you?
For me personally, this might sound kind of strange, but growing up, I was terrified of heights. I wouldn't even get on a Ferris wheel.
Wow.
Fast forward, I went to, jump school and went to Halo School, which is the Army Special Forces High Altitude Parachute School. Anything to do with heights at any time was challenging to me. And my dad, he said, "Wow, good for you. You conquered your fears." Patty, the truth is I never conquered that fear. I just got through it. Mm-hmm. So, we don't always have to completely master our fears. We just have to face them and get through them. And even to this day, I don't like heights. If you see me up in my yard on a ladder, I'll come down and I don't like that. And you would look at me and you'd be like, "Oh, you used to jump out of planes, huh? That's interesting." So, we don't have to master it. We just got to get through it. And I was able to do that because I had a lot of really strong guys to look up to and help mentor me.
Mm-hmm. If you had the opportunity to jump out of a plane again, would you do that?
Probably not, but the wingsuit thing, the flying suit that you see guys wear, that kind of that does intrigue me a little bit, but I don't know if I would ever do it again.
Unless somebody challenges you, because if Ed, he's never going to say no to a challenge, I don't think.
Probably not the best decisions ever when you do that. So be careful, kids.
Oh my goodness. So, gosh, I've known you a long time. And honestly, when I met you, you were probably one of the first of Ken's friends that I liked automatically. Some of the other ones had to grow on me.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll do that to you. We'll grow right on you.
Yeah, like a little fungus. No, I'm just joking.
Well, yeah, no, it's true. It's like a dog. You feed us once, we won't go away.
But you have a great personality. You have a great family.
Well, thank you.
Now, one thing I was told to ask you about is a book that you were in. What was that about?
So when I was at Force Recon in Camp Lejeune, a man named Fred Pushies, who's written several books on, the military, writes about the Green Berets, the SEALs, the Army Rangers, different units in the military. I think he primarily did it in the 90s and early 2000s. But so he was going to write a book on Force Recon, and he came down at different times to watch us train or to take pictures. Like he would meet us out in Arizona to take pictures of us doing halo jumps, or he would meet us in Camp Lejeune when we were doing patrolling exercises or CQB, or meet us somewhere else when we were doing amphib operations like boat ops or diving of some type. And I really got to know him. He's a really interesting guy, and he's a good author. He's got a lot of books. So we got to he interviewed several of our guys and took pictures of several of our guys. And we got to be in that book. I think it came out in around, if I was betting, it was probably 2004-ish, 2003, maybe.
I wonder,
maybe even a little sooner.
Yeah. Is it still on Amazon, do you think?
It might be. It's called Inside Force Recon by Fred Pushies.
Okay, we'll look that up and see if I can find that. And if I can, I'll
Sure.
definitely link it also. And
Sure.
again, for those who might just be tuning in, could you tell us your apparel website can be found at patriotmuscle.com? Is that correct?
PatriotMuscleUSA.com.
USA.com,
Yeah.
patriotmuscleusa.com. All
Yep.
right. And it's all American made and veteran owned. And 10% of profit goes to Wounded Warrior Project and St. Jude's, everybody. So, all right. Ed is now on Facebook, which is really fun. Um, so you can find him on Facebook as well. And do you have an Instagram account?
Not yet. So for those of you guys listening, I've been living in kind of off the map for the last several decades, but my kids are trying to drag me into the 21st century. So we're getting there. I'm going to get a LinkedIn account this week. So I just got on Facebook about, I don't know, not even 2 weeks ago, but it's been kind of neat to catch up with some people from the military and from, where I grew up. But it's also been a nice platform to discuss, things like veteran suicide and causes like that, and try to get the word out on that, because even I didn't know that stuff was taking place, and I'm still somewhat connected to people in the military, and what you don't know can kill you. So it's been good to try to help get the word out on that.
Right. You did a video, 22 push-ups.
Excuse me.
And I actually am going to share that on the Wake Up with Patty Catter social media today. And that was really good because unfortunately we've known veterans who have committed suicide. And
Sure.
I think that that's probably been one of the harder things for us, because you go through a war and you lose loved ones in war. And then when these guys come home, you don't expect somebody to take their life. It's just, I think it hits you a little bit harder and differently. And I like that in the video that you created, it addressed that you didn't even realize that either. There's this huge statistic that came out that 22 veterans per day have been killing themselves. And gosh, I've been talking about this now since 2010, and it's still going on. So yeah, it's not.
I think it actually goes back longer than that. It kind of prompted me to read on it. So up until about a month ago, I did not know that this was even a number or statistic and how long they've been going on. So I'm tracking it back to at least 99, which, that's really a lot of people. So I came out with another video yesterday. I try to post one a week, or one a day or something, but I can't push another one out yesterday that gave more stats. So, 22 a day, just in the last 8 years, we've lost 64,000 people. That's just a phenomenal number. And in Vietnam, we we lost 58,000. So that goes to show you really what a serious problem this is. So I just didn't know about it. I just didn't know. I didn't know the statistics, but it's really prompted me to do some homework and read about it and what's causing it. Is it TBI? Is it PTSD? These things, some of the symptoms actually parallel each other, so you don't know which one it is until you reach out and talk to somebody or go get evaluated. So it's a serious problem. We're just losing a lot of people, and it's really disturbing and sad,
It is. Yeah, I know. I appreciate you. And a lot of veterans are standing up right now to do those videos. And I'm so glad about that, because a lot of times the veterans that I know who've unfortunately committed suicide, they felt alone, that there was nobody there. But I really believe that if they see a video like the one that you made, that they're going to start thinking like, geez, you know what? I'm not alone. And there is something else I can do. And that's focus on, maybe helping somebody else, or get involved in different organizations or different things, different outlets. So thank you for creating that.
Well, I'm glad I can help with that. I don't know that we're going to save every single person, but again, just the numbers are just sad. A lot of these guys have been through a lot, and then they come home, they've missed some of their family growing up, and then next thing you know, they're not there and their family doesn't have them anymore. And it's, guys people do feel isolated, I think sometimes, or they feel like there's nowhere else to turn, but that's not always the case. I think, awareness will help. And we just need to try to do more for our veterans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. Everybody who's listening, again, go to patriotmuscleusa.com to purchase your shirts from Ed. It's all U.S. made and veteran owned, and 10% goes to charities. So thank you, Ed, and thank you for being on the show. Is there any last words that you'd like to say to our listeners?
No, thank you so much for having me on, Patty. I know you and Ken do a lot for wounded veterans and veterans causes, and I really so much appreciate it, because I have so many friends that are, retired or coming out of the military, and it's always good to try to help them, because those guys went to bat for us. It's good that we go to bat for them. Agree.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And
okay,
everybody,
Patty.
Yeah, everybody make sure you go to Wake Up with Patty Catter. You can listen on all podcast platforms and on 16 radio stations across the U.S. Thank you for listening, and everybody have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to Wake Up with Patty Catter.
Thank you.
Thanks for all that you do.
Sponsored by the Patriotic Mermaid. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
For more information and updates, check out www.pattycatter.com or thepatrioticmermaid.com. Also, make sure to drop us a follow on Instagram at Wake Up with Patty Catter and at The Patriotic Mermaid. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on all major podcast platforms. Until next time, take care.